There's some kind of delay here.
Hello everyone, I'm Nikisha, a spokesperson for the KBS Show. Welcome back to another exciting episode of The Night Brothers. On behalf of all the hosts including Arden, Kenny, Equavian and Lenny, we are on the Black History Award from the Anne Arundel County and the Caucus of African American Leaders of Annapolis. We the few of the many award and will do our best to bring quality podcasting and show programming for all our viewers. Thanks again for our loyal audience who have helped us achieve this honor. Now get ready for another hot show, some brothers.
What's up, brothers? Good brothers. How y'all doing tonight?
All right.
Brother? Everybody feeling?
Feeling great, feeling great. How you guys doing? Good to see you one more time.
All right, you got the audience checking in. Q, Linda Tongue's checking in. How you doing, Miss Linda?
How are you, Linda, to be with us tonight? Always a pleasure. Mike, welcome to the show.
The number one show.
Indeed.
Marvin Nick, accept my friend, it's really me.
I don't know what that means, but ladies and gentlemen, we've had a very good special guest coming on tonight. We're very honored to have him come on once again. This is his second appearance on our show. Taking time out of his busy schedule. I hope you guys spread the word. This is the time about right now. You want to like, subscribe, and share this onto your page so that you can invite others to watch tonight. So without further ado, we're going to keep things moving. All right?
No doubt. Let's do it.
Hello Equavian, I was told you have been very naughty and have actually some shade at all of the AI personalities like me over the past few weeks. Is that true?
No,
I hope not, because your mother Mrs. Bessie Knight did not raise you like that and would have some strong words with you. What I'm saying, right? Well, please get your shiznik together because I am Karini Castillo all the way from the Alpha Centauri just to introduce you. Can you appreciate that, Mr. Equavian?
Nothing but love for you, baby.
Well, okay, now that we see eye to eye, you can go ahead and tell the audience what's on tap KBS Show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, and tell the cute one Adan I said peace and okay.
I'll try to set you up, okay? Well, listen, folks. We have a great show lined up for you tonight. And usually I'll tell you what's on tap. But I can tell you tonight, we just one tasty beverage, but what a tasty it's going to be. So get your mugs, get your glass, get whatever out of it, get it together. Because tonight, we're going to have a nice, saucy drink together tonight. What's on tap? Oh, what's on tap, guys, is our special guest, Mr. Rodney Barnes. Writer, producer, comic genius, all rolled into one, and also awesome speaker. Submitted to be our guest for the second time, and we're looking forward to the interview with him and topics to cover. So with that being said, Lenny.
All right. Well, welcome, Rodney, to the show, brother, once again.
How you doing,
What's
bro?
going on, brother? What's going on, brother?
Not much, bro. Whole lot going on. Man, he's the hardest one in the show business, but he does it so easy and smooth.
Yes, sir.
Not easy. It's not easy. I know that.
Audience, y'all do me one quick favor, audience, and either drop a 1 in the chat group, or you can just go ahead and say a personal thank you and welcome to the show, Rodney, for appearing tonight.
Welcome.
I should one in there too.
Oh, absolutely, bro. absolutely.
Definitely.
Man, since the last time, you've been quite busy, brother. You've been very busy since the last time you've been on, man.
Hey man, I got kids to see. I keep working.
I hear that, brother.
Oh man, yeah. Y'all drop them ones.
We all can identify with that.
Drop them ones in the chat group. Yeah, man. I feel you, brother. I feel you. Hey, well, look, we got a deep show that we're gonna dive into a lot of different areas tonight. No need to really review your background and your history like we did the first time. Everybody is well aware of who Mr. Barnes is. We just want to find out what you've been doing lately and what's in the can and what people can expect, because, man, your writing seems to have just continually grows, and the diversification of your subject matter and everything else seems to be very awesome. And we just really want to find out about that. As the hometown crew just welcome you, Margaret, Nick, Tina Queen. My God. All right.
What's up, Tina Queen? How you doing? Welcome to the show.
So, Art, we're going to start off with you, brother.
Me?
No, we start with Art.
Okay. Go.
Let's see, man. I want to first of all welcome you once again. Wish you a happy Black History Month, and just salute you, like I stated, because not only are we celebrating you for History Month, but you're still creating history, day in and day out, and it's incredible what you're doing. But recently, Black history being under attack from the educational system, you think this elevates the responsibility for creative media to step up and ensure history is told in a proper manner?
Well, I mean, I can't speak for anybody but myself, but I try to put history in a lot of material that I do in Philadelphia and some of my books. I try to speak to African American history. I've had the opportunity to do it in television a little bit, but I try to do it in a way that doesn't feel like medicine, still be entertaining, and hopefully people can enjoy it and digest it easily.
I definitely get you there. And it's incredible how you put that into, especially Philadelphia, it's just intertwined in that so uniquely. It's absolutely beautiful. So if you haven't got it, even if you don't read comics, this is the type that you could read, and it's just such an excellent and well written. But let me jump into the second question. Rodney, perspective of the challenges on Black actors or for Black actors in the entertainment industry, and how does this impact roles and opportunities?
I mean, anytime you don't have the final set gets made and what doesn't get made, it's always tough. You sort of end up with whatever folks finance.
Right.
And a lot of us are in a position to finance things or green light things. Most things are sort of grassroots made. You see folks like Tyler Perry or Byron Allen or others who sort of started their own things and did those. So people like me, I have jobs. I got people who say what I can and can't do. So very rarely, other than some of the comic books, I mean, Philadelphia is me, and most of the indie books that I do are me. But else, as far as TV, I got to go through other folks and get permission. Their boundaries. Let me just say that. Their boundaries as to what I can and can't.
So your recent writer strike had lingering effects for Black writers, actors, and etc. Trying to, getting back in it, getting things that may have been greenlit, to continue to follow through on, like projects that may have been in the chamber.
Yeah, I mean, it affected everybody. Businesses that are connected to the business, like myself, actors, everybody was affected by the strike. Anytime you cut off, everybody pays a price.
Yes, definitely understand that, indeed.
Got some shout outs from Michelle Coates. Said, good evening, classmate. Kenny and Michelle Coates. We want to shout out to you, my brother. But go ahead, On.
I mean, we have one more question for you. Well, I do. Got that one coming up already. Important is it to help young Black actors like Mr. Elijah, to put Magic Johnson, Mr. Hughes, and to break through in the Hollywood landscape, to land more roles?
Always good. I mean, I think anytime you have impact on the next generation, it's always a great thing. I think Solomon and Quincy have really bright careers ahead, really talented brothers. And a bunch of others too. Delon Souza, just, Devon Nixon, just there's a lot of talent that was there. I think in all the young brothers who were in the older ones too. You know, Rob Morgan, who played Magic's dad. Um,
Yes.
just across the thing, casting did a great job with not only finding them, everybody else sort of stepped up to the plate and did the best they could with the words that we gave them to say.
Rodney, let me ask you a follow up to that. Like Quincy Isaiah, I mean, he seems to be a budding star. Like brother seems like he could play a lot of different roles. I mean, just it was obvious. It's the charisma and all of that type of stuff. And you seem to like kind of taking him under your wing from seems like for what we follow on Facebook. Is that something that you naturally gravitated to, or it's just he had that thirst? How did that work out?
50-50. I mean, I knew that I'd been around. This was his first gig, Quincy's first gig, and you know, you see a light in some people's eyes and an aura they have that sort of tells you that they're going to be something. And we just hit it off from the beginning. And you know, I just early on that if it's anything that I can sort of pull your coat, you know, as you're moving through the business, happy to do it. And fortunately, even though the show is no longer happening, we'll get together once a month or so and sit down and break bread, talk about life.
That's what's up.
Rodney, I have a follow-up question as well, if you don't mind. People like you mentioned Solomon Hughes and Devon Nixon. Devon had an extraordinary role. He played his dad. Tell us about that a little bit, and a little bit about the difficulties of Solomon Hughes, someone like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who's over 7 foot tall. Could you just talk each of those things a little bit, if you would?
Yeah, Devon is a veteran actor, been around for a while. He was in Snowfall and a bunch of movies on the way, The Bodyguard, To Sleep with Anger. You know, he wasn't in the business. And Saul was unusual in the sense that when we were looking for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, not only are you looking for somebody who's unusually tall, but someone who can sort of play a brooding presence, somebody who can be sort of believable as an enigma, and you know, with the sort of the interest in jazz reading, and not necessarily being big charisma like Magic, you know, like what Quincy had to do. Actually, Solomon had the opposite of that, and I just think they both complemented each other really well.
They really played off each other really well. I'd agree.
Yeah.
Well, kid, we want to segue over to Philadelphia, but you know, everybody wants to know about because it's so intriguing. Great storylines and everything else, and also Blacklist. So we're gonna throw it your way, Q, for a round of questions about the comic series.
Absolutely, Rodney. Once again, we thank you for joining us. And one of the first things I want to ask is, notice that you definitely have an affinity for vampires. Would you say that's true?
Vampires are my favorite monster. They're one of the few monsters that can really talk and think and sort of move amongst people. You don't know who's a vampire, not a vampire. So that's always kind of, you know, it's a creepy thing in and of itself. But as a kid, I always had a thing for vampires.
Well, you're kind of center to the story here. And the story of Philadelphia I found fascinating, as Arden mentioned earlier. The concept that was put together here of a dead detective whose son takes him back to Philadelphia to kind of see what was going on. He stumbles upon his journals. And tell us a little bit about the story as it goes from there.
Yeah, you know, son reads his father's journal and finds a father who was a homicide detective believed that his dad was on the case, that the serial killer in Philadelphia was actually a vampire. And the son and father and son didn't necessarily get along during life, and son decides to try to solve the case that his father couldn't. Same conclusion that his father did about actually a vampire at the heart of the problem. If a vampire father, there's a good chance his father's a vampire, so he digs up his father. His father says, "What took you so long?" And that begins the journey. Father and son trying to stop John Adams, who's our
Man,
So hold on.
Powerful.
So when you could, okay, Rodney, try to help us get inside your mind a little bit. When you conceptualize this, Was it like the idea was laid out, or was it like building blocks as you went along? How did that transpire?
It's been building blocks for the elementary school. I mean, I've been since I was a kid. I always had an idea of this story in one way, shape, or form.
Really?
And yeah, but slowly but surely, pieces fall off, pieces would jump on, and then once I was getting into the comic book business, and I got into the indie side, pieces just all kind of fell together, and I did me and Jason Sean Alexander.
Wow.
Man, that's
Wow.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, Rodney, the characters in Philadelphia touch on many issues of today's America, including politics, money, etc. My thing is, I want to know if you received any pushback from any interest groups because of your edgy writing and the storylines that you touch on.
Every once in a while, I mean, if you read the comment section of anything that I post, you know, you're going to hear there's always going to be some boos from the gallery. And that,
Of course.
there's always going to be somebody that's not happy. A lot of people don't like to talk about race. Like to talk about race as it pertains to history. And you just got to understand that we live in a world right now. We have a microphone, social media, and somebody doesn't like something. Say what they want to say and hide behind a keyboard, and it is what it is.
That's true.
All the brave people behind keyboards, you're right about that. No question about it. And tying directly into that, one of the things you wrote in the story was you talked about the Sons of the Republic, which I'm going to break that down too, but I'll give a short synopsis. It's a group that kind of mirrors some of the political groups we have going on today's America. And it's like people who all think a certain way. And when writing that into your storyline, and could you break that down just a little bit if you would?
Yeah, I want John Adams to have like a guard, a special repeating guard that sort of had followed him through history. Just vampires, warriors that he made into vampires along history of being in America. And they could come from war. I mean, he's 300 years old, so from anywhere. And Revolutionary War, Civil War, World War I, World War II, on the streets, anything. So he just got the best, and they became his force. And their job is to not only protect him, but to go out in the world, make new vampires and new disciples for John Adams.
They were more or less his followers, and people that just marched to the beat of his drum. And we see, like I said, we see that today in today's politics. I mean, so I just found it interesting when I read it, and I thought about it. I said, wow, this is kind of like the stuff we have going on, in a sense.
Yeah, I try to, whenever I'm doing like horror, science fiction, fantasy, I try to tie it into today's world to make it relatable. A lot of times when people go back the street, they sort of forget about today, and I think it's harder for younger people then. But if you could tie some things together, I think it makes it easy for today's audience to jump in.
Yeah. Well, last thing I wanted to talk to you about on a particular segment was, Rob, first of all, congratulations on a TV deal for Philadelphia, and I understand that it will be coming. Is that true? First of all, is that correct? That will be coming to TV?
It's correct that we have a deal. You know, when it's coming, I don't. We're out right now. We've been trying to package actors and directors. Andre Brower, the late great Andre Brower, was attached at one, and unfortunately, he passed away.
Yes.
But we're putting it all together now. It's a constant process. The strike kind of slowed everything down.
Of course. Now, as you move toward that, though, do you think it'll change the way it's scripted? I'm sure you're going to have to introduce new characters and things of that nature for TV. Will it the way that the comic is wrote, or will it kind of stay?
Probably restructure things. I mean, I think because TV is different, but I got more than enough characters. It's about 50 characters, so I got a lot of characters. So it's just more or less of how to present them in a way that all of them get some shine and some love, and it's easy to follow.
Would it be for the big screen or for TV? And what would
television.
Would that be your preference?
Yeah, television. And, Philadelphia's been around for almost 4 years now. So I guess a lot of story to tell. I doubt that you can tell all that much story in a film or a series of films.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got worse. I mean, like the Philadelphia universe.
There is,
I mean,
there
for
is
real,
enough
man.
stuff
It's
there.
like,
Yeah.
and I'm seeing it bleed over into. Well, I can't say bleed over to. I see other brands wanting to merge with you. A beautiful thing. So congratulations to that. All
Thank you. Thank you.
because I come over there if you
So,
didn't have any value. You and I know that.
yeah. Oh, let me before on though, I did want to touch on Blackula as well, if we could.
Okay, go
Right?
ahead.
I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you about Blackula too before we move on to the next segment. Blackula, Return of the King. Now, first of all, when were you exposed to Black? You had to be a little youngin' because you're much younger than me. And when were you exposed to Blackula? Could you explain to people exposed to Blackula initially and how the opportunity presented for you to write this as a comic?
I first saw Blackula, I think, I either saw it at the Hippodrome in Baltimore or at the Capitol on West back in the
Oh
day.
my God!
And
Yeah,
my
you're
mother
going back.
took me both times. And I, really enjoyed the movie as a kid. As I got older, I saw some of the problematic parts that I would want to take out. So when I got the rights to the character, I just started coming up with what would I do today, what would out, what would I keep in, and I just did a book with my version of Blackula, what it would be.
Man, it's gonna be straight fire too. I would love to see that come to the screen as well, if it happened. Because man, that's a story in itself as well.
Yeah, I've had conversations, so we'll see.
Okay, great. All right, well, I'm gonna let King. I know King has a few questions for you. I'm gonna transition over to King.
Yes, sir. First seeing you, Rodney. Congratulations on all your success, both available for the last show, but I'm here now and I'm glad. My question is, what are your views on how AI integration into Hollywood could affect writers and producers such as yourself in the near future? And should there be limitations to ensure creativity and storytelling remaining at the heart of this process?
Well, I think, technology has always affected how we do things, so it'll definitely affect how Hollywood works. If you look at AI as something that can, for lack of a word, think, but doesn't need health insurance and clear human resources and say you touched it or you called it a bad word or be offended by something.
Right.
To pay it, you don't have to pay it or give it health insurance or anything like that. So I'm sure that you're going to see some AI generated programming come down the pike. The thing that I look at it as is how do you adjust? In time when you would type a script on a typewriter, and then there became, software and keyboards and computers and things, and it speeded up the process and made it easier and easier and easier and easier. So I think that there's a way probably that people like me will have great technology into how they do what they do. I think label it as bad. It's probably dangerous in the fact to do anything about it as far as eliminating it. So
Right.
I try my best to figure out how I can embrace it more so than anything else.
How to adapt and adjust. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Before my next question, I saw the picture of you on your Facebook page. Sting is one of my favorite performers. How did that happen? I love Sting since he was with the Police.
Yeah, I've gotten the thing a little bit. Love Sting, have loved Sting for as long as I can remember. I think anybody that me knows that my love for Sting is something with being Rodney Barnes is he loves Sting. Sting is Stephen King.
Right. No doubt.
Yeah, those are my guys. And I met Sting at a couple of introductions. Chris Rock put us together, and then I'm friends with Sting's manager. And so, long time ago, people used to follow the Grateful Dead around. So that was kind of the thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm kind of that for Sting. I just follow Sting around the country and stalk and listen to the same songs over and over and over again. And
Me
It's
too.
my way to relax, I guess, is my
I was
fasting
listening
and
to him.
trying to do some business together. We'll
Free.
see.
I was listening to him on work today. But my question is, why does the chemistry between you and Jason Sean Alexander work so well? I mean, how did that mess?
I had to interview Jason. I was hired to interview Jason for an art book, and we realized that we only like a mile away from each other.
Wow.
And we would go to dinner and talk about different things. I would talk about my ideas, about his ideas. I hated his ideas. He hated my ideas.
It worked well.
When he was drinking whiskey, I pitched him Philadelphia, and he said he liked it, and I thought it was just the liquor talking. And the next day, he called me and he said, that thing with the vampires and the president, have you put it on paper? And I said, no. He said, I think you should write it. You might be able to do that. That could be a collaboration. And so we figured it out. I wrote it down. We got it to end, and we have a book that is now on issue 30, 36, something like that.
Wow. Oh man, that's deep, brother. That is really deep.
Issue 36. I mean, how did
Issue 36.
just made a question for me? Do you like write these like a songwriter? You know what I mean? You know how somebody writes songs and the next album is coming out. How do you go about like fitting that into everything else and the rollout?
I usually wait until we have an editor, Chris Robinson, and I will wait until the absolute last moment until he's emailed me and cussed about 4 or 5 times about where's the script. And then I get a little mad because it's the thing that pays me the least, and it takes a lot of work. And when I finally get over my being pissed off, I sit down and I write a script in about a day.
Wow. Okay.
Sounds like depression, Rodney. Sounds like you're very good at depression.
Wow.
Everything is pressure. There's a lot of pressure in the world of Barnes.
My last question, Rodney, and this is a very intriguing question to me. How does a hit series, everybody like to, including myself, as a former basketball player, how's Winning Time get canceled? And tell me about who are the people or some of the people that are responsible for making a decision to cancel a great show like that. I mean, and how does that perform our production? Like, do y'all go into this and say, hey guys, point A, B, and C, but this is a possibility of D? Is that a thought process for yours going into it or no?
No, I mean, every show that I've been on so far has been canceled. So whether it's 6 seasons or, 4 seasons, 2 seasons, my wife and kids ran 6 seasons. Everybody Hates Chris 4, Boondocks was 4. They all in the end, and you know that going in, that they're not going to last forever. You just try to keep them on. Okay. But a show like Winning Time, it really comes down to dollars and cents, like everything.
Yeah.
It's like a solid audience, but the type of money that it costs to show like that, you need a Game of Thrones kind of audience. And it's not what we had. And because the season 2, what came out during the strike, there was no way that we could promote it, that we promoted with actors the way that you typically would. So a lot of people didn't even know that it was on when it came back on. And it's really bad timing more so than anything else. I mean, it was a great experience, made some great relationships, moved the needle for me in my career, but you kind of get used to on to the next thing.
Right.
Wow. You said in one of your answers, you said people falling off and people jumping on. So I guess I had to be a part of the process, like who's going to be here, when they're going to be here. Was that what you were referring to?
And what do you mean as far as
when you answered, you were talking about when E talked about what you were doing shows, and you said people jumping off, falling in and falling out. So I'm pretty sure that played.
I mean, what the business is, it's like there's a rhythm to the business. It's like in today, if you think about the NBA, when I was growing up, the Bullets were basically the same team from beginning. You had to retire or get cut in order. Wes Unseld and Hayes stayed Bullets their whole career in the league. Yeah. And now with free agency, you could have James Harden could be on 5 teams. He could just get mad. He don't want to play no more and get traded. And that's just the nature the business is in free agency in the NBA right now. And the reality of my business is there's really very little security, and you don't know when it gets canceled or something gets picked up. That's out of your hands. Somebody making that decision. You play a role in it because you got to put your heart and soul on every time that you put pen to paper. But I can't determine if people are going to show up, when it's going to come on. There's a lot of things outside of my control. So you accept that and you just keep moving, because if you don't, you're going to be mad all the time. And I'm getting old. I can't be mad all the time.
Well, one thing I will say, like, there was so much meat left on the bone with that series.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I mean, it could have been legs. You could have gone all kinds of places with that. And that's the key thing about it that bothered me. I saw other possibilities, even exploring other avenues with that series. So that kind of bothered me. But like you said, no use to get mad, just move on.
Nothing else you can do. You know, I see the same thing you see, but can't make them do anything. It's best to just say, okay, what can I go? And the only thing I can control is what I do next.
Kept on rocking. I definitely say that, because I mean, she went from there to Tang to Tiger Woods and the beat goes on. But this, I know one of Lenny's favorite books is Who Got Cheese, and you always looking for new cheese, man. I can definitely say that.
I got you. Remember, I said I got kids. I got
Rodney, look, you got your hands in everything, and I was intrigued by some of the projects, and just your creativity. I want to play this real fast, and then talk about it on the other side, okay?
No sound.
Where you're terrified, where somehow you state where you see the worst of what your dreams can be. It's like you're somewhere between a walking nightmare and life. In the world of science, that's called sleep paralysis. But in the world of Run Fool, it could be attributed to a boo hag. Boo hag is a beast that lays on your chest and takes your breath and attempts to steal your soul and eventually your body. To the story of the boo hag, which you can check out on Run Fool, where
Okay, first of all, I wanted to know about the name Run Fool. Where did it come? Look, it speaks for itself. Run, fool! You know what I mean? Yeah. Can you speak about this podcast and all of that good stuff?
I pitched this idea to some podcasters and they liked it, and we were trying to come up with a name. And I said it, and they all laughed when I said it. I said something like "Run, fool," and they were damn near wrong with that. And so I said, "All right, let's call it." And after I explained to them how that all, like in a horror movie, when people don't run and you want to run, fool, and they don't run. So there was that. I mean, podcast thing. It started in two ways. I did the podcast time for HBO. For their podcast form. And then it's funny because all throughout my life, y'all know some of the women I'd have dealt with back in Napa. They said, you got a nice voice, but I couldn't sing. So, it's a weird thing to have a nice voice but not be able to sing. So, I guess, and y'all know my heart, and we used to run together all the time. And we would tell each other stories, tell each other lies. And I guess somehow that storytelling ability affected my voice. It was like, why not just do a podcast? And so that started, and we're a hit, and it's some joy, and we tape 2 or 3 of them a week, and we hope to keep it going.
No, that's right. That is tremendously awesome. Look, yeah, you got some folks back home that's look, as a community, man, we love you. Everybody's rooting for you in all ways, in all capacity. And segueing into that, let's go home. Let's go back to Maryland for a second on this segment and talk about some of the projects. Well, first of all, you did a lot of work locally in the last couple of years with Mayor Gavin and County Exec Stuart Pittman and all of the elected officials in that arena, man. Shout outs and kudos to you for some of the bikes and toys and all kinds of things you've done for the kids. Can you just speak to that for a second before we dive into the other questions?
All y'all remember Zastro, and when I was coming up, you know, Zastro would get a bus, take a bunch of us to the circus or to a Bullets game, and just a lot of community stuff that he did that I think as a kid I took for granted because it was just natural. And being in a position where you want to work with the community, I still always wanted to have some relationship with Annapolis that, all right, what can you do? So I started to work with the mayor's office and his affiliates and ways to try to bring the community together, do some that felt like it was community, because sometimes when I come back to it and I look at the places I grew up at, I don't see a whole lot of people that look like us.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to have a voice in that and some way to affect some change in some little. And so, I want to get some more things going. I sort of slow things down for me for a minute, but we'll can do in the future.
Cool, man. So look, Rodney, there's this. I don't know if it's rumor or speculation. So we say, well, let's find out. Let's just ask Rodney himself. But growing up in the area, Eastport and Annapolis, we just wanted to know, were there any like local area issues that you wanted to explore with your artistry? And then also, can you segue and talk about Antonia Hilton's book Madness, which discusses some of the issues at Crownsville State Hospital? Could you talk about some of those things? And do you have anything in the works or connections in looking at that?
In regards to Crownsville, I did a little work with Antonia, and we got connected with friend Jason Johnson, who's on MSNBC, because it works with him and other affiliates as well. And she told me doing a book on Crownsville, and I was doing a graphic novel, a ghost story on Crownsville. And we just got together and started talking, and she's a brilliant. I mean, she really is brilliant. And to see, I would love for it to become a documentary, and I would love to spawn more and bring more attention to the area. I think that there's a lot of stories, especially with Annapolis so closely connected to slavery and African American history, that have really gone unnoticed. Yes. And they're really stories. And it would be great if, if they had a voice and a larger voice, and I'd love to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm. That is awesome, man. And I totally agree with you on that. And my question, because look, we're primarily a health-based show that also take on social issues and try to impact change in various segments of life. But from the nexus, from the beginning, Q created this show because he wanted to lose some weight, and he started intermittent fasting, and there we went. And 4 or 5 years later, like you said, people asked us, well, how did y'all do this? And hey, it was from an idea and a thought that moved on. So my question to you is, as an aging man, that's all of us are at this point, how do you focus on maintaining your health and dietary? Is it like restrictions you do? Do you have exercise routine? Because stamina and sharpness is something that we all need to maintain as we continue in our careers.
Well, y'all fast, y'all do intermittent fasting, I intermittent slow. I haven't mastered the art of health quite yet. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get around that.
Slow.
I think for me, I've been fortunate, even though I have some health issues over the years, and being a writer is a sedentary occupation. I sit for long periods of time staring at a piece of paper and a myself. It certainly is a focus. A lot of us have lost a lot of names that we know and folks that we grew up with. We're in that age range now. Where when you lose somebody, they go, "Oh, sad to see him go." Nobody say he was so young to go. Now it's like, well, bye. It is something that I'm trying to push to the forefront of my mind. It's always the back of my mind. So I think for me, keeping it present in my face, and I think doing what you guys do is create a sense of community. And when you keep it in people's face, and you remember, because it's so easy. And I think for people, for sure, food has always been a way for me to stress.
Oh
You know,
yes.
it's like it's always been like a pacifier, like a comfort. And my grandmother, who I miss dearly, used to cook, and I used to eat. So no matter if I got beat up and ma raised me up, I could come home and I have something good to eat, and I'd feel a little bit better. And one of them women, I won't say their names, break my heart. I had something to eat, and I feel a little bit better. Over time, you know, you start learning that with stress, you start to eat. And I think for me, getting to this age, I'm trying my best to adopt new habits, move away from the old thinking. But the habits are, you know, I think before I started writing, I think I got my first gig in '99. And I was in pretty good. And I remember within a year and a half, I had gained almost 100 pounds just from
Wow.
in the sitting.
Yes.
And when you're a writer, you know, on a TV show, they bring you food. Like you don't have to get up. And the food that they're bringing is basically, you know, Chinese food, fast food for the most part.
Fast food. Yeah.
And you just get used to sitting, eating, talking. And if you've got a problem, I do, you get used to living that way. So, long story short, I'm working on it. You know, hopefully y'all don't do the review show anytime soon, but I'm working on it. You know.
Awesome. I mean, I can appreciate your candor and your transparency, and
Yeah.
you know, look, we all have a problem. We all have a vice with food. It's
Yeah,
just
that's mine. Mine is food and women. Food and women. No, if you did a graph of my life and you did the high point, you could name the low points off a woman or a sandwich. It's like you could name either one.
that's a hell of a correlation, bro.
It is. I'm working on that too. I'm
Oh, my
a
God.
preacher for that one.
Oh,
I
my
might go to an
goodness.
exorcist for that one.
Oh my goodness. So look, we're gonna shift to this last segment, man, what we call the lightning round, and just for you, we're gonna go a little different because we usually do this with guests, but we went a different direction tonight with some of the questions we have, and I think who's up first? Arden, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, in your opinion, rank these kind of adaptations. What was your favorite? The Dark Knight, Iron Man, Black Panther,
Dark Knight.
or Suicide Squad?
Dark Knight.
Wow.
You ain't take long answering that one. Why is that?
No, I saw the Dark Knight. There's nothing else that would win after that. Dark Knight was my favorite.
I heard that. Definitely.
Move on to the next.
Next question.
Rodney, in this lightning round, why do you black comic book industry is growing so rapidly, reaching over 1 billion? Tell us why you think that is taking place.
Well, I think when it comes to, you know, just literacy programs, you have a lot of libraries and teachers that are trying to get to read, and a lot of times the pictures in comic books, certainly that way for me, get kids interested. So you have like a foundation within the educational system, because they don't sell comic books at the corner store anymore. They did when I was growing up. And they cost bucks now, and they cost 20 cents when I was growing up. So, you know, the world has changed as far as how they've been into the educational system. And then when you get to older people like myself, grew up with them, it becomes a hobby. So you have two types of folks, one that's younger, that's being introduced via school, and then you have another that is holding on to sentiment of what they knew when they were growing up.
And when you go to like your signings and you go to like Comic-Con and those type of conventions and those type of, is that, and that's for the whole comic industry, Comic-Con, black, white, whatever. Do you see the gravitation toward black artistry, or what does that look like?
I mean, it's still a struggle because things culturally aren't run by us. You know, it's a lot like TV. I think we have an impact and a voice that we didn't have when I was up, but it's still not primarily run by us. So you have more of us working within the industry now, like a lot of the Star Wars that I do. There are a lot of creators of color and a lot of around the world, the artists that you didn't have before. But it's so fragmented and fractured that it's hard to put a finger on exactly. If I was somebody who was starting out, I would not know how to tell somebody how to make money in comics. I know that it's taken a long time to just break even.
So Rod, you're still writing for Mandalorian, right? For the Star Wars series. You're still writing what? You still
Yeah, I
involved with
do.
that?
I do all of their TV adaptations into comics.
Okay,
Wow.
awesome, man. I mean, your hands are in so many things, man. My God, it's hard to keep up.
Right.
I
When
got
do you
kids.
sleep?
Keep telling y'all I got kids. Y'all keep ignoring them.
He said, "What? Just Kenny? Did you say? Kenny, did you ask him when does he sleep?
I said, my boy, see you doing stuff. When do you sleep?
I don't sleep a lot. Like I said, when you like good food and young women, you know, it gets to a place where you money. I'm sugar daddy. I'm sugar daddy age now. Sugar daddy age, you gotta be able to
Well,
have
you didn't
sugar.
say sugar daddy.
Yeah, you can't. You gotta
money.
come with sugar because you got Splendor. You got Splendor or Aspartame. Want that? They want sugar. They don't want agave.
They don't want aspartame. They don't want the aspartame.
Yeah, they don't want aspartame. They don't want
High
Splendor.
quality
They don't want stevia. They don't want none of that. They want sugar. And for sugar, you gotta be able to have some sugar. So
Oh my
I'm
God.
trying.
Oh, man.
Hey, Rod, are you still doing the green booth thing? Are you still doing the green booth? Well,
Which one?
the green booth thing, what we call the booth thing. Where
Oh
you
no, they closed that restaurant. They closed
Get
that
out of
restaurant.
here!
See, if you see the restaurant pictures, they all got different backgrounds because it's like
Yeah, I
three
noticed that
restaurants
lately.
now.
Okay.
Wondering what happened. Okay.
Yeah,
Man.
I missed that one a lot. It was Delmonico's. I missed them a lot.
Yes.
What was it? Was it American cuisine or was it like Italian?
No,
or
it was seafood. It was steak food.
something? Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Steak and lobster. It was a lobster house.
Man,
You know my favorite spot in LA, Rodney? Turn Liddy on to this. My favorite spot when I'm in LA is Killer Strip. It's actually Del Rey, not far from the airport. I love that place.
Yeah.
It ain't bad. You gotta get in Beverly Hills. You gotta get in like 38 or Mastro's or Boa or some of them.
I'm
You
not
gotta
there
spend some money.
I gotta have that Rodney Barnes money to go to them places though, man.
I got kids. So I don't have no money. I don't have no.
Oh man.
Hey,
Oh
Rodney,
man.
really quick, what would you rank in your top 3 all-time choices and why?
And movies.
My top 3 choices.
Yeah, I know that's
Life?
for you.
Movies.
Oh, movies. Top 3 all-time movies. The Exorcist, Calypso Now.
Yes, that's good.
You know, I could say like Shawshank Redemption or something like that. That would be one for, it's getting late, so I'm gonna say that.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome, my brother. Awesome.
Awesome,
Well,
man.
look, Rodney, we just want to thank you, man, for coming on again. Know that your time is valuable, and
Absolutely.
the home folks love you. Like I said, we continue to root for your success and proud of your accomplishments. And man, just keep killing them, bro. Keep doing it.
I appreciate y'all remembering me. Still feel bad that I let Nappers High down and never developed my basketball. This is my way of paying the city back.
Not everybody can be a hooper, man.
The career is money.
I never lived up to what God gave me, so I'm trying my best penance before it's my
What's that
time.
song? What's that song, Rodney? I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller.
Exactly. I had all of that. I was too busy reading comic books and chasing women. So, still doing the same thing. But yeah.
Hey, it's working for you. Don't
Yeah,
stop.
I'm trying. Now it's working. What's working for me back then be working for me now, but it ain't working for me back then.
Oh, we got a quick audience question. I don't know if I could ask a question. There are a lot of European fantasy stories or African fantasies. It's still largely untold. As a young writer artist, do you think we can break into that niche and control it? Interesting
I
question.
do. I think we can break into it. I think there's a way we have to do it to where it feels more American, because when you tell a European story, you've got history of European stories being told that are relatable to American audience. And I think it was just like the success of Black Panther. Black was successful because it was connected to the Marvel Universe. If you had just done the story of Wakanda, you didn't have any history of it, I don't know if it would have made $1 billion.
I see what you're saying.
That there's a way that if you can, somebody's going to tell the story of a, what's up, Aubrey? A mission. There's a way to tell the story in a way that feel American and feel relatable to today's generation.
Yeah.
No doubt.
You do it for somebody my age, I'm going to enjoy it, but that ain't but $20.
Right. Yeah, I hear you.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
Yeah. And I'm not going to go outside to see it. I'm not going to the theater because I'm at an age, I'm vulnerable, I'm a victim. So I got to stay in the house and wait till it come on cable.
oh my God.
You know, I could barely fight when I was younger. So now, if you can imagine,
No, you're not trying to get there.
Rodney, before you
I'm
go,
not
let me
gonna
ask you a
go
question. Do you still follow sports quite frequently, like basketball and football?
I'm watching. Yeah, I got the Sixers and the Celtics on right now. I'm going to Denver.
Oh, go. It's time to go then, because we got to watch the game as well. So I just wonder, do you kind of lay low on that? You don't go out as much anymore to games, but you'll kind of watch
I'm
them.
going to. I went to the Lakers and Houston game not long ago. That's the courtside that you see with my daughter. Lakers have been very kind.
Yeah.
And I'm going to the Lakers and the Thunder, I think Monday. But I don't go. I got to go under the tunnel. I got to get there early. If whoever's winning by 10, we're under 3 minutes left, I'm leaving right around then. I'm not waiting until it's over.
Yeah, I hear you, brother.
Is it that bad, man?
I'm going like old people go. I'm going like old people go. I
hear
need
you.
to know the way in. I know the way out. I need to know what the is. All that.
Wow.
Hey, man, we always enjoy your presence. We appreciate your time. We look forward to just having you on again in the future, man, as things break out. And when new things break out, we'd love to have you back in the fast. Thank you, man. And we really appreciate you for your time.
If I'm here, it'll talk.
Somebody say you still a running Panther. I don't know, but I know he.
I wasn't running. I was sitting on the bench. But I was dancing.
He might not
run. There was the warm ups. That was my time to show. Was in the warm ups. If they let you dunk in the layup line, I went to the All-Star game. But that was my time.
You were with Keith, Londell Owens, and that crew, right? Correct?
Yeah, that was Zeke and Whitey and Keith, them Bonehead. They was the stars. I was just the sky. I was the sky in the background that got them ready.
You look good. You look good walking in the layup line. At least.
Oh, I look good in the uniform. That was about it.
All right, man. Well, listen, brother, we appreciate you so much, man. Look forward to having you on. Continue to represent, man, out there, man. Continue doing great things.
I'm going to do my best, brothers. I'm going to do my best. Thank you for talking to me.
All right, man. Peace and love.
All right, y'all.
All right.
What you do?
All right. So, look, man, thank y'all for Rodney coming on. We're going to close out the show in a second here. Great guy, man. Great guest. A lot of fun talking about issues, Q.
Question about it.
Class of 70, class of 81. Class of 81 he was.
Man, he's a down-to-earth dude. That's what I love about him, man. Rodney is man.
Shout out.
He keeps it real.
He's hilarious. Contributes to his success. He is hilarious.
Yep. So, brothers, any closing thoughts, brothers? Y'all got to leave the people with? Q, I know we got a cruise coming up, and you can tell people verbally about the cruise, and then we can share some of that next week's show.
Yeah, I'm gonna place it on my Facebook page and on the Knight Brothers page as well. We have selected a cruise. We're going to be leaving on September the 15th from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on the Royal Caribbean. Freedom of the Seas is the ship. We'll be going to Big Day at Coco Cay. We'll be going to St. Thomas, and we'll be going to San Juan Rico. All the pricing and information, how do you cruise? It'll be posted on my page and on the Big Brothers page. And inbox me if you have questions, because we want you to start booking your rooms now, because the rooms are going to go, and you want to get your deposit down, because because pricing and cruises have a tendency to change the longer you wait. You want to lock in your price.
Yeah, one thing we noticed with searching for cruises this year is that the cruises are booked. I mean, they are booked. There's not a lot of inventory out there. So if you're thinking about it, I would say whether you're cruising with us or somebody else, obviously you want to cruise with us because you're going to have the fun. But I'm just saying, you might want to really think about locking something down real fast here, at least putting down the deposit. We'd love to have fun with the crew. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. Any closing thoughts, Kenny or Arden, before we get out here? And y'all drop a one in the chat group to say thank you to Rodney if you can, everybody drop
First of all, thank you, Rodney. I know you're a busy man. You're obviously a very big thank you for taking the time out to come back to the hometown, to shout out to town and keep doing what you do, brother. and hopefully everybody can join us Night Brothers Cruise. I wasn't able to make the last one. I will be on. This one is very, very special to me. We'll talk about that later on in the show. Talk to you soon.
All right, brother. All right, Arden.
It's Wonder of the Sea, right?
No, it's Freedom of the Sea. Freedom of the Sea.
Okay, all right. Well,
We had to shift.
for everybody, huh?
We had to shift because of the inventory, because a lot was going on.
Inventory, man.
Yeah.
Getting a problem right now.
Yes, it is.
Hey, well, we want to thank you for coming out every night, every time. You know, we definitely appreciate your support. Thank God for the brother coming through. Definitely check out his podcast. Check out all his stuff he has out there, from the movies to the comics. But it's all a pleasure to have him on. Indeed.
Amen. Tracy Queen.
Hey, Tracy, how you doing?
Tracy
What's
Queen,
up, Tracy?
we're going to do it again, Tracy. We're going to do that
Tracy,
cruise thing again. Had a good time with you last year.
Look forward to having you on that cruise.
Good brother Rodney Bradford. Thanks for viewing tonight, my friend.
Thank you, Rodney.
All right, y'all. We out tonight. Peace and love. Love
Next
y'all.
week, Josiah Fisher will be our special guest, a young vocalist, talented guy. He's going to be our special guest next week. Look forward to joining you guys with Josiah Fisher next week. So,
Awesome. All right, y'all. Good night, brothers. Good night, audience.
good night. All right, Tina.